I like to stay current on Facebook and Twitter, and I learn a lot about fishing there. Recently, I've been reading some reports and seeing some pictures of some big trophy speckled trout that have been coming out of one bay system. It's right along the Texas Gulf Coast at East Matagorda Bay. On this week's show, we're going to visit for the very first time this bay system, see what we can learn, see if we can catch a couple of big trout. Going to be a lot of fun. Glad you're with us. Fox Sports Outdoors is on the air right now.
It's time for your weekly fishing reports and real-time outdoor news from the Southwest region. This is Fox Sports Outdoors.
Hey, I'm feeling quite adventuresome today because I've never been to this part of the Texas Gulf Coast. Just over my left shoulder out that canal is East Matagorda Bay. It's located a little bit south and west of the Houston, Texas area, and it is home not to a bunch of redfish or flounder or sheephead, but it is the place for a big trophy speckled trout. Captain Trey Pry and some of his guide customers have caught some monsters out of this body of water. And on today's show, we're going to be taking the brand new Mako Pro Skiff 21 out in East Matagorda and try to find some of these big speckled trout. While we're out doing that, we're taking you around your local region for your fishing and lake and bay reports from our expert team of insider reporters. Hey, this could be a lot of fun. You don't want to go anywhere for the next half hour. So right now, the Mako gets launched in the boat ramp into East Matagorda Bay. We take you back to the FSN studios to get it kicked off with your weekend planner.
The fishing tables are indicating that the best daylight hours for fishing over the weekend will take place in the afternoons. Peak conditions are forecast to begin at 3:41 on Saturday and 4:36 on Sunday. The sun will rise at 6:21 and set at 8:39. And the moon will be 72% visible. Stay with us for fishing news from around the area. Plus, 2006 Bassmaster Angler of the Year, Mike Iaconelli joins me for this week's Ask the Pro. We're coming right back.
Fox Sports Outdoors is brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Right stuff, low price, every day. Lose, fueled by passion, driven by innovation. Feel the difference. Gene LaRue and Bobby Garland Lures. With our baits, a good day of fishing is in the bag. And Strand Fishing Lines, the standard of dependability.
Bobber down, got him. Oh, wow. Man, he slammed it. Good grief. That one hit it going the other direction. Hey, welcome back, everybody. We've made it out to East Matagorda Bay. Got a cloudy, overcast day going here. And I've hooked up with a fish right off the bat. I can't see him yet. Oh, good one. Good fish. Wow, wow, what a pull. Get in there, got him. All right. Wow, look at this. Look at this, Big Daddy. That is a whopper right there. Holy cow. All right, darling, we're gonna gently let you go back here. One more look at an unbelievable East Matagorda Bay big old trophy speckled trout. And wow, she was ready to go. Captain Trey Pry has kind of showed us some bearings here and told us what to do, and basically we're just drifting down the edge of some big reefs and just some open water, really. As you can see out here, there's nothing. No grass beds, no oyster reefs, no shell. Really nothing, just big flat water, and we're in about 5-6 feet of water, something like that. So it's fairly deep out here, and we're fishing a suspended little shrimp imitation under a cork. So that's the deal. There's a lot of open water fishing here. It's not a lot of shallow, skinny wade fishing and that kind of thing. Most of these big trophy speckled trout that Captain Trey and his customers have been catching out here have been out here in this open water fishing fairly deep. So that gets you set up. We've got one good one on camera already. We are off to a great start. Got a lot more coming. Right now though, let's get you some fishing and lake reports.
Hi folks, This week's Lone Star Lakes is brought to you once again by the Lake Texoma Association and the folks at Chickasaw Point Golf Club and Highport Marina, who invite you out for the 4th of July fireworks and family fun celebrations. Now this week we've come to Lake Fork, which is a well-known big bass fishery here in East Texas. You can catch these fish starting in the morning with your topwaters like a ribbit frog or a buzzbait around the emergent grasses. Then work the next depth of the water column with your spinner baits and your watermelon red Cincos. Finally, work main lake points and structure with deep diving crankbaits and or Carolina rigs for the bigger fish. If you just want to catch a bunch of small fish, the unders at Lake Fork, use your drop shots off main lake points 15 to 25 feet deep. One overlooked species at Lake Fork is the sand bass. There's a zillion of them out here, and you can catch them from 2 to 4 pounds using your standard sand bass fare, such as your rattle traps, your tiny torpedoes and clear, and your spoons and slabs. And if you need lodging or a guide on Lake Fork, look to the folks at Hidden Lakes Hunting Resort. That's been this week's Lone Star Lakes, brought to you by Highport Marina and Chickasaw Point Golf Club. Now, let's check in with Mr. Bill Olson. He's on the coast.
Hi folks, this week's report is brought to you by Port Aransas on Mustang Island, the fishing capital of Texas, where anglers enjoy pristine bays, estuaries, 18 miles of surf, and the deep blue waters of the Gulf of Mexico. Plus the local restaurants will even cook your catch come sundown. Come fish and play Texas Island style. For more information, visit portaransas.org. Well, Upper Coast anglers continue to either fish away from the freshwater flow or fish under it. On Sabine Lake, the southeast side of the lake has had bird activity with trout and redfish underneath. The deep reefs in Galveston Bay are holding fish under the freshwater layer. Now, West Galveston Bay affords an away from the runoff option. Unfair Lures shrimp has become the hot bait. Their dog walker is a good option in the surf or at first light. Now, runoff flowing down the Guadalupe River has muddied San Antonio Bay. However, Cedar Bayou continues to be a good option inside and out. The backside of St. Joe Island has been good for those wade fishing shorelines or working back lakes and drains. Anglers fishing croaker have scored on the upper Laguna Madre shorelines, all the way to the King Ranch shoreline down to the mouth of Baffin Bay. Fish water 5 feet deep to the shore. The sand pockets and grass beds from Port Mansfield to Port Isabel have been good. This weekend, both Saturday and Sunday have a double tide schedule of 2 high and 2 low tides each day. I'm Bill Olson, and I'll see you on the coast.
Bobber's down, Bobber's down. Got him. Yeah, that's a pretty good fish right there. Pretty good speckled trout. Get a net going here. Hard to do one-handed. Got him. All right, look at this dude. Look at this. This is old Dewey right here. All right, how about that for a speckled trout right there? That's a nice one. Man, he's got a big old mouthful of my little treble hook. Wow, that's cool. Okay, that's enough, that's enough, that's enough. No monster or anything, but a good solid trout. Oh, stops. Well, there he goes. Wow, that's one of those good ones right there. Just out here drifting and covering open water, and you just literally never know where one of these fish are gonna bite. I'll show you the technique I'm using here in just a little bit, and at the end of the show, we'll show you the setup. But I'm using a spinning tackle, and I'm using a popping cork, but it's a homemade popping cork that Trey makes himself, he and his partner. And using a little plastic shrimp imitation, calling the fish with big, loud pops. Show all that to you here in just a little bit. Right now, though, time for some fishing and lake reports for you.
Hey friends, Captain Kevin Broussard here with your Fox Sports Louisiana Outdoor Report. I'm talking saltwater fishing and Calcasieu Lake. I tell you what, we've been dealing with muddy freshwater all spring, but the fishing's still been real good. We're into the early summer pattern right now. Lots of trout getting caught on soft plastics, mostly 1/8 and 1/4 ounce Rockport Rattler jig heads and K-wigglers. The redfish, they're up in 1 to 2 feet of water, shallow, way back in the marshes. I'll tell you what, talk to Towfield Bourgeois down at Lafitte. He's doing great also, trout and redfish. Bill Lake, home of Louisiana, same thing. We're going to turn it over to Cajun Phil and see what's going on in the bass scene.
Thanks, Captain Kevin. I tell you what, friends, right now with the heat as hot as it's getting, keep in mind, nighttime bass fishing is pretty good right now. Talked to several anglers that went up to Toledo Bend on a nighttime trip. They caught lots of bass. They even had one of them over 8 pounds. They said lots of 2 to 3 to 4 pound bass. What they're fishing is humps and ridges. Keep in mind, when you fish at night, you got a couple of choices. You can fish shallow water with a buzz bait or a spinner bait. At nighttime, whenever I'm fishing, I like to fish a deep water hump. In other words, I get my boat in about 30, 35 foot of water. Then what I'll do is I'll look for a hump that goes up to about 15, 17, 18 foot. Got brush top on top of it. Keep in mind, the bass are going to make 1 or 2 big runs, and then they're going to fade away. What it is once you catch your fish, make sure you throw right back out there. Try to catch a second one.
Got him. Not a big one, but a trout. Come aboard, buddy. All right, there's one more for you. You know, this is really interesting how we're doing this. We are basically drifting with the wind, even though I've got my Motor Guide XI5 trolling motor up here. And I can stop us anytime I want to, and I can actually set up controlled drifts with my trolling motor. We're actually making long, like mile-long drifts down through here and just covering water. It's pretty amazing. I'm just not used to fishing for open water trout like these, but basically you're likely to get bit almost anywhere out through this big open part of the bowl of East Matagorda Bay. You just have to make nice long drifts and cover a lot of water. According to Captain Trades, just about how much water can you cover in a day. Stay with us. We're coming back to East Matagorda Bay, speckled trout fishing right after this.
Fox Sports Outdoors is brought to you by Excite AGM Marine Batteries. Starts like new, stays like new longer. Motor Guide Trolling Motors, because accuracy matters. Nitro Performance Fishing Boats. Champions aren't born, they're made. And Fox Sports Outdoors is driven by Fort Worth Nissan and Lone Star Toyota.
Watch that cork pop. He's got it, he's got it, he's got it, got him. Boy, that's a good pull. Right in front of the boat. Let's see what I got. Ooh, that's a good one. That's a good one. Look at that big daddy. Stay on there, big boy. Stay on there, big boy. Try to tire him out just a little bit. Wow. That's a strong daddy right there, and I got him. All right. All righty. Wow, he didn't even have it all that good. How's that for a trout for you? That a good one? That is an East Matagorda trout. That's one of the good ones that Captain Pry was telling us about right there. Man, just a gorgeous specimen right there. I don't know how big, I don't know how to gauge these things, but he's big. To me, he's huge, I can assure you that. All right, well, we're gonna gently let him go back. And away he goes. All right, he's safely back in the water. Let me show you quickly the technique that I'm using to catch these trout. I'm using a popping cork, as I showed you. Show you all this up close at the end of the show. It makes a lot of noise and a lot of rattling. And I'm letting the wind help me. I'm making big, long surf casts as far as I can throw it. Just let the wind carry it way out there. I'm using string braid. It's real light line, and it'll just cast a mile. Rod tip goes down, and then I'm going pop, rest a minute, pop, count to about 3 or 4. And what that does is that cork makes a big, loud splash, gets the fish's attention, calls him to the bait, and then they see that little shrimp dangling about 2.5 feet below it, and they just can't stand it. Rod tip down, big splash, let it rest, and they come and eat it. Time for more fishing and lake reports from where you live.
Hey, big old Lake Texoma may be best known as a striper fishery, but the recent Bass Fest event there shows it's really a good largemouth fishery as well. Congratulations to Greg Hackney. He won that event. 4-day total, over 66 pounds. Some guys had some really big bags on select days throughout that 4-day event. Now, Greg, like most of the guys, were pitching and flipping into heavy cover. The water's been up several feet for a while now. Definitely starting to recede, but still the fishing in the cover was good. And speaking of fishing in this cover, look at this big old crappie that Tommy Biffle caught, fishing around the cover, around the grass, a 5-inch biffle bug. A big old bait, a big old crappie, a big old mouth on that fish. And of course the smallmouth fishing there has been good in recent years. Muddy water has kind of slowed that down a bit right now. Across the rest of the state, white bass fishing is really heating up. A lot of schooling activity going on in many different places across the state, especially the main lake areas, and more so out toward the main river channels when that happens. And don't be afraid to look for those schoolers high noon. You see them come up, long cast with that jigging spoon, pop it back across the top, let it fall, let it flutter down to the depth. You're going to find out where they are. You can catch some really good numbers of white bass many places across the state. Largemouth bass fishing in those areas that have normal lake levels or a little bit lower than normal lake levels. Catch those fish still shallow early and late. Variety of different ways, top water, small worms around the shorelines, but when they go down, the sun comes up, get down deeper in the middle part of the day, big crankbaits, deeper long ledges work really well. You can still catch them in Oklahoma, many places across the state right now, but you can't catch them if you don't go.
Bobber down. Got him. Right on top. All right, we've got a hook up. Feels like a pretty decent fish. Yep, decent one. No monster. All right, there we go. There's a decent trout right there. No monster, but just a good one. Back he goes. I want to talk to you about watercolor just for a minute. We got out here this morning. We had a big thunderstorm overnight, tons of wind. Got out here in this bay, looked like a Yahoo chocolate milk. It was horribly red muddy. And I thought, man, we're not even gonna get to fish. But Captain Trey said, just hang in here and watch. It'll clear up throughout the day. Right now, we've made it to the afternoon and I can't believe the water's turned back to a real pretty green color. Most of the day, it's just gradually settled out. In one day, went from just bright red, brown mud to just a real pretty color. So, the fish have turned on more and more as that water has cleared up. It's been kind of an amazing thing to watch. Stay with us. We'll be right back after this.
Be sure to join Fox Sports Outdoors again next week, Thursday at 5:30, or catch the repeat airing Saturday morning at 8. And you can always watch the latest episode in full HD on the front page of our website at foxsportsoutdoors.com. Plus, catch up on all past episodes by clicking the archive button, and see lots of how-to and product videos by clicking the how-to button. Also, stay up to date with the latest fishing news, videos, and photos by clicking the follow button on our Twitter feed. And get lots of that same info by clicking the like button on our Facebook page. Fox Sports Outdoors is brought to you by Tracker Boats. It's more than just a boat, it's a tracker. Costa Sunglasses, see what's out there. Mercury Marine, official outboard of Fox Sports Outdoors. And Lowrance Electronics, find, navigate, dominate.
Welcome back, everyone. It's time for the Ask the Pro question, your chance for advice from professional anglers. This week, Daryl wants to know, how do you decide when to use a spinning rod and reel versus using a casting rod and reel? For some guidance, we found Bassmaster angler Mike Iaconelli.
When do you use a spinning rod versus a casting rod? It's a great question, and my determination of when I use spinning versus casting is the weight of the lure. And if the lure weighs more than 1/4 ounce, 99% of the time, I'm going to use a casting rod. If the lure weighs less than 1/4 ounce, 99% of the time, I'm going to use a spinning rod. Remember that a rod is a tool, just like a hammer or screwdriver, and using the right tool for the right weight bait is really key.
Thanks, Mike. If you have a question to ask one of the pros, visit foxsportsoutdoors.com, click on the Ask the Pro link, and let us know. Now let's see which big fish picture wins someone a new pair of Costa sunglasses on the Costa Catch of the Week.
Here is this week's winner in the Costa Catch of the Week contest. He is Forrest Owens of Hemp Hill, Texas, showing 2 giant blue catfish, 47 and 54 pounds, he caught at Toledo Bend Reservoir in Texas. If you'd like to be our next winner, just go to our website at foxsportsoutdoors.com, The right side of the front page, click on the Costa Catch of the Week area, follow the instructions to send us your photo, and you could be our next winner. You can see all of the Costa frame and lens styles back at their website. Click on the Costa logo. You can see all the 580 polycarbonate and glass lenses, all of the variety of frames, including the brand new frames I was wearing this week. They're called Raphael. Next up on the Academy Right Stuff, it's the popping cork rig that Captain Trey Pry uses for all of his customers, and the one we use today to catch all of those big speckled trout. He makes these up himself, and if you fish with him, by the way, you'll get to use these. But it begins with his own popping cork rig. It's got a couple of great big beads on it. It makes all kinds of noise when you pop it. It's got a weight behind it, barrel swivel, about a 3-foot leader. And then at the end, he's got a little plastic shrimp imitation, and here's the real key. He ties a loop knot, and as you can see there, it's got a tiny little treble hook on it. 75% of the fish get hooked with that treble. And one other very critical factor, we were using 40-pound test strand braid for our main line. Why is that important? On those big long casts, it has very low stretch, and I was able to keep constant contact with my popping cork to get a big bubble every time I pulled it. Then we use 30-pound test strand fluorocast for the leader material. The average life expectancy of a U.S. citizen is somewhere around 79 years, give or take. I did the math, and that equates to about 29,000 days. That's about how long that you and I have to live. I look up one day, I'm in my late 50s, my kids are up and grown, and I wonder, where did the time go? There's a very old saying, dating back to the 1200s, that says, time waits for no man. How many days do you have left to live? And what will you choose to do with those? I look at my life, and I don't want to waste one single day of those I have left. And a couple of more quick things before we leave you here. I got to fish today and catch all those nice speckled trout out of the brand new Mako Pro Skiff 21. If you're looking for a big-sided, dry, stable, smooth riding boat that will jump up even in very shallow water, the Pro Skiff 21 is the boat for you. I love this boat. You can check it out at your local Mako dealer or at the Mako website. Next, if you want to book a guide trip here at Matagorda Bay, East Matagorda, and want to fish with Captain Trey Pry, you can contact him at the information you see on your screen. One word of warning, he stays booked up well in advance. You'd better get in touch with him quickly if you want to fish this year at all, or even the beginning of next year. And if you want the close place to stay, a nice, clean, comfortable room, everything you need just 5 minutes from the boat ramp, contact Fishtail Inn. Lisa and her crew do a great job there. Here's a couple of quick shots of what the place looks like, but again, it's the best place to stay close to the boat ramp here at East Matagorda Bay. Hope you enjoyed the trip today. We'll see you next week. Until then, I'm Barry Stokes. Be safe, have fun. Bye-bye, y'all.